Welcome back to the Grimm Workshop. Today we're going to be taking some tools that are found on most all of the survival cards, as well as a trash resource, and we're going to be making a penny stove. Now, technically speaking, in addition to the Grimm survival card of your choice and a couple of empty cans, you're going to need a penny as well to make this function the best. I've lost pennies in the middle of a trip. I've also just made these without them, and they work fine, but to get the most out of your stove and to make this style work the most efficiently, a penny is going to come in pretty handy. You can look at this as a survival skill in a couple different ways. If your main alcohol stove was to be damaged or broken in the middle of a trip, you're going to be able to find enough trash resources nearly everywhere to go ahead and craft a stove and get yourself through a trip. You can pre-make these. This is compact, this is lightweight. A lot of times when I'm on a fly-in trip, I will make a penny stove like this as my only stove for the whole trip. I will locate fuel once I land, and then I throw away the stove so I have less stuff to take back with me. This is also a prime skill for urban survival. In an urban survival situation, you're always going to be able to find trash resources. Alcohol is a lot more prevalent, and this gives off no noise and no smell when it's burning. So any type of stealth camping or situations where you want to go unnoticed, a penny stove like this is a great option. Now, I can do this whole job with one tool, but just because I'm kind of spoiled here, we're going to be using the dog tag knife, and then we're going to have to put some holes in the can. Now, of course, you can use the tip of your knife blade, but I'm going to be using the awl off the Bushcraft Kelso card. And then to light it up when we're done, we're going to be using the Hot Shot card. Now, to make nice, even cuts, we're going to use something for a spacer. A roll of tape works really well for that. You can use a rock. You can use practically anything. But we are going to be using a couple survival tins just to show you a couple different options. I've got a thinner tin here, which is going to give you a smaller can, which is going to pack down a lot better, but it doesn't burn as long. And then I've got a taller tin here for the dog tag tools. This is going to be a larger stove, but this is going to hold more fuel, and it is going to burn longer. Now, ideally, you want to have two cans, and you want them to be pretty pristine. If they're dented up, you can probably make it work, but it's not going to be as nice. So to get this cut nice and square, we're going to take our cutting tool, whichever one you're using, and you're going to lay this right on end. And you're going to use this tin as a spacer. Now, what you don't want to do with this is try to cut through and push in one pass. You've got time here. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep your cutting tool level, and you're just going to score it. So now I'm scored pretty well here, so I'm just going to go ahead and just nibble through the last little bits holding it together. There we go. That's what you're looking for. So we're going to utilize this one as our bottom. And then here on top, we're going to put our holes. So to get that done, you could use the point of your knife. I'm going to go ahead and pull the awl out off the Bushcraft Kelso card. So you could use a needle. You could use anything on this. So with that awl, I'm going to take the can that's uncut, and I'm going to go ahead and dead center middle, I'm going to go ahead and awl just a small hole. And I'm going to turn that all kind of round it out. That's a little off center, but that's okay. So next we're going to create a star pattern. So I'm going to go 12 o'clock, put a hole, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then I'm just going to divide that up. So everywhere I've got a mark, I'm going to make a nice round hole. Everywhere I've got a mark around the perimeter of this stove, I'm going to go ahead and make a nice round hole. So now you're going to use your same spacer, and you're going to go ahead and rotate the can and slice through. So you got your two pieces. Your top has the holes and your bottom doesn't. So what you're going to do now is you're going to crimp this. So you got to watch your fingers, make sure you don't cut yourself. But you're going to put a little crimp on it all the way around, kind of in a flower pattern, I guess. So if you're living right, this top piece should slide right over the top of the bottom. There you go. Now you just want to make sure when you assemble this, you don't over push the top. If you push this top too far down, it just doesn't look as good, and then you're going to get a little ragged edge here on the bottom. But this is something you can make a lot of these. You can make these with hardly any tools at all. It's good to practice making these on the fly with what you're actually carrying. This is pretty cool, but this is just a stove. If you were to put a pot directly on here, you're going to snuff it out. So it's up to you to craft or carry a pot stand when you're using an alcohol stove like this.